All right, guys. So here is the new. Here's the new news. New. Nolan. Bill replacing mother and father with gender-neutral terms passes in New York. Heads to desk. I am so tired. Bro, I am so tired. Mother becomes gestating parent and father becomes non-gestating parent under the proposal legislation. You know, I'm just gonna say it. You will never find me dead using this kind of language. Just to make this 100%. You know what? Next time I visit New York, I'm just gonna say mother the entire time. I'm gonna do that everywhere I go. Mother, could I get that? Mother, this is really nice. Wow, these pancakes, mother, they're great. I mean, at the end of the day, we do say, ooh, I can say mamma mia. Oh my gosh, mamma mia is gonna be criminalized. How am I gonna Italian? I'm sorry, but am I supposed to say, don't put pineapple on pizza, just stating parent, fucker? I have so much to say, but let's get reading. Your non-gestating parent isn't coming home. Nolan. All right. New York Democrats recently passed a bill that would remove the word mother and father from parts of state law, sending the legislature to Governor Kathy Hochul's desk for final approval. This came from the legislative branch. I guess it still needs to go through the judicial in order to be approved, right? I hope. Under the new bill targeting state child custody and parental laws, mother becomes gestating parent. We got it. Yeah. It passes in the state senate. It passed in the state senate this week after progressing through the assembly in March. So how does it pass? How does anyone in a what's next one? Female is menstruating individual. Mother. I'm just gonna say it. Mother is one of the most beautiful words in any language. But before we continue, let's have a word from today's sponsor. Recently, a jury ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They knew their platforms could contribute to anxiety, depression, and body image issues, but did not share those risks while prioritizing profits. The recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health struggles, you should hear this. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm they caused. You can use the link in my description or scan the QR code to take a short quiz to see if you qualify for a case. You may be entitled to a potential recovery of up to $1,000. And this comes from the side that says to be pro-women. Common sense, they need to change that. Uncommon sense is the term. Well, okay, let's see. Democrats who drafted the legislation claimed the wording shift would promote inclusivity, but it's excluding women, isn't it? What about the opinion of actual mothers? This is literally like, if any of these senators is a guy, by the way, which I'm sure some will be, it's basically mansplaining to women why the word mother is a problem. Inclusivity. Oh, this kind of reminds me, not to bring Naulan into everything, but it kind of reminds me of what they were saying when it comes to the casting of the Odyssey, where they say, well, we want to be inclusive to the whole world, and they forgot, the Greeks. They didn't cast a single freaking Greek. Because their global inclusivity was so focused on literally anything. I'm surprised they didn't cast a reptilian, but they forgot to cast Greeks. Here, it's the same thing, guys. They want to be so inclusive to, well, it's a man, but can be pregnant, and they wanted to be inclusive to all of that they forgot to include mothers. I would make it illegal to pass a law like this unless you have the democratic approval of the majority of mothers in the country. This is gender discrimination, you're absolutely right. While critics claim the changes are necessary, as a critic myself, it's not just a necessary, it's diabolical. With the legislative session having ended for the year of Thursday, folks, okay. This Hochul said during a news conference that she isn't familiar with the proposal, but promises to review it. Oh, you should review it, all right? I have until, you know what I would say? I would have said, I'm not familiar with the proposal, but just at first glance, I'd say it's bullshit, but I'll review it. That's what I would have said. Open quotes, I have until the end of the year to review them and make a decision, so I won't be commenting on pending legislation. You don't need a freaking year to figure out why there's nothing wrong with the word mother. You know, and if this is based on the fact that there might be some people that take offense to the words mother and father, well, I take offense with probably every word they utter anyway. I take offense with words such as gestating parent. So why doesn't, and I'm going to ask, anyone in chat takes offense with the word gestating parent? Because here's the thing. In theory, democracy, whether it be representative or pure, whether it be what we have in the United States, republic, which is it, whatever, it should be the majority that matters. The majority. The majority of people do not take offense with mother and father. However, I can strongly state that the majority of people take offense with gestating parent, non-gestating parent, and all this nonsense. So, shouldn't a democratic system look at the little offended minority and tell them, sorry, bro? That's how it works, or doesn't. The Republican good American candidate Bruce Blakeman shared multiple posts responding to the bill on social media Friday. Let's see. Open quotes, in Kathy Hochul's New York, mum is now defined as gestating parent, Blakeman wrote. Not when I'm governor. I'll stand up for mums and dads against this insanity. You know, of course I agree. Clearly this is an attempt at using this in order to favor votes. Bro, it's not gonna work. Not in New York, I'm sorry. It's not going to work. This bill is a continuation of Hochul's war on families. Actually, I agree with that. It is part of the destruction of the nuclear family. And at the end of the day, it's just chaos. So let me tell you why. This is particularly disgusting to me specifically. You see, as someone who enjoys history, ancient history, I know that I mostly talk about ancient Rome, ancient Greece, and the Middle Ages, but if you give me an assignment to read 1,500 pages on the Mesolithic, I would love you. I love all of it. The roots of our ancestry, I freaking love it. Now, the thing with a word such as mother and father, but I want to focus on mother for a moment, it's remarkably ancient. We're talking at least we can track it back 15,000 years into ancient Proto-Indo-European. And I'm going to be honest, the roots, which probably sounded something like meter or something like that, we find them as they evolve into all of the different, Proto-Indo-European, we said, but also Proto-Germanic, moder, which then goes into, it's kind of the beginning of what we have in Anglo-Saxon. You find it in Sanskrit, you find it in Latin, mater. I want to be honest, I think it's one of the most ancient words in existence because I can guarantee that the reason why there is so much similarity across the board, even in unrelated language families, when it comes to this word specifically, is because at the end of the day, it probably comes from the original sounds, natural sounds the babies make. The kind of ma, ma, mama, that kind of sound that they make is probably the origin of this. So you can this word has managed to remain intact for at least 15,000 years, only to be destroyed in New York because of a bill about inclusivity. I'm bewildered. It's an attack on women. And of course, father is an attack on, because here's the thing. We talked about mother, right? The origin of our species. We all came from a mother. You're destroying the origin. You're murking the water. But father is also tremendous. Also immensely ancient. It's immensely ancient as well. But if they remove the word father, the head of the house, of the traditional family, okay? Of course, you're going to destroy they've been vilifying what it means to be a man anyways. Masculinity, protective masculinity. I've seen, just the other day, I was looking for like interviews with, what's her name, Lupita Nyong'o, and there were these interviews where not her, but the other person, one of the actresses that played a role in the Wakanda nonsense. She was saying, oh, we hate this idea of the damsel in distress. Women don't need the help of men. They say up until a massive guy with 17 times their upper body strength starts to mess with them in the middle of the street. Then they do want the help from men. Then they do, as it's normal. As it's normal, biologically speaking. There is a difference. It's called sexual dimorphism. If you have a problem with that, either take it with nature or take it with God, whichever you want. You know, it doesn't matter at this point. You're atheist or Christian, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If you have a problem with sexual dimorphism, you have a problem with the way evolution shaped us or with the way the maker made us. Because it's reality. And the fact that these people fight reality and they want to live in this alternate reality, and fine, believe whatever you want, but you're not going to control my speech, and you're not going to control the way I think, because the way I think, and I think I can speak for a lot of you in chat, is grounded on biological reality. But here's my question that I'm going to kind of close this parenthesis of nonsense, but here's my next question. If Father is outlawed, how long until Heavenly Father is outlawed? How long until Father in heaven becomes problematic? You see where I'm going with this? And if you think that it's a stretch, if you think, no, Metatron, I think you're stretching, this has nothing to do with religion, okay, well then how do you explain the bill that was recently passed in Canada, which is starting to outlaw several passages in the Bible? We'll talk about it, but it's happening, and that's going to be the next tab we're going to check. But let me finish this one first. New York bill. Now, let's see. New York, this is from United News. I don't know how to read it. New York bishops say gender-neutral language law mocks the foundation of the family. Bro, I can't even begin to fathom what it means to be a bishop in New York. I mean, it must be tough because you have to deal with all of these kind of laws, which, of course, you have to deal with half of the what are they called? Like all of the pastors that in fact say Jesus was wrong and all the nonsense that the pastors do these days. And then you also have to deal with the Pope because the Pope recently has been saying some nonsense. I can't even imagine it. Anyways, yeah, we understand this. The New York State Legislature passed a bill that replaces the words mother and father. Not in a million years. You won't find me there. Just like I refuse to say BCE, CE, never. Even if you write BCE, I will read BC. I refuse to that. To me, the BCE identifies as BC, and I don't want to dead name it. How about that? In some state laws with gender-neutral language, yeah, the bishops say muddy what is true and good. I absolutely agree with New York's bishops. They are absolutely based. It's nice for once to see a bishop saying something based after the Pope has said some nonsense. The bill passes by the state assembly in March and by state senate on June 2nd. Now heads to governor. I really hope the governor has some sense, adds some sense into this. The words, even the words paternity and filiation will be replaced with parentage. How can they suck so much that their alternative is always 10 times worse? No, you can't say homeless. You have to say unhoused. I mean, bro, I'm not a native speaker of English, okay? So maybe it just sounds particularly ugly and stupid to me, but maybe you're a native speaker and you're like, no, unhoused sounds really nice. Maybe. But to me, unhoused sounds insane. But what's funny is that how about whatever? Let's say that to me, unhoused sounds stupid, that I would say homeless. But to you, it's like, no, it's unhoused, it's nice. Okay, how about we stop wasting time into doing all of this little, no, you can't say this, you can't say that, and maybe help the people who are homeless. How about that? Instead of wasting time into, it's not apt. It's not apt. So there's that. Then we got, again, as I say, I don't even know where we're going with this. Parentage. It's never about. Here's another one. You can't say foreigner anymore. I'm not making this up. I have it all documented. This is from a university guide, of course, in Canada. I have nothing against Canadians, but brother, the government is, I know you know. University of Waterloo in Canada. I've given you where to find it if you don't believe me. But they said you shouldn't say foreigner. You should say international person. You know, as a foreigner who lives in this country, call me foreigner. Call me an alien. I love it. I'm a legal alien. Yes, I'm an alien. I love it. I admitted it from Orion Belt. You have it on tape. Next, they said you can't say minority. You have to say, and I'm not joking, look it up. Minority is not appropriate anymore. You have to say equity deserving groups. How is it possible that they have to multiply the number of words by 3 times fold? This is less effective. Not to mention, you know why they're doing that? Because this time, if I were to follow this, which I imagine if I'm a student at said university and I need to write my dissertation thesis, I better follow those rules because they're going to reject it otherwise. So what's going to happen is that it's every single time. So we need to talk about equity deserving groups rights because, someone who belongs to an equity deserving group, we need to understand that people in equity deserving groups, if I have to say that every time I say minority, what I'm saying is that I am constantly pushing your message, whether I agree with it or not. I constantly have to say that this group deserve equity, which I absolutely don't believe. I think equality is good. Equity is nonsense. In fact, it's a racist position because equity means do not treat everyone the same. It's what they're doing in the UK. Do not treat everyone the same. You're white, you get less rights. You're black, you get more rights, and it's all based on who we consider to be the oppressed, which could change, by the way. You wait a few years, they might flip things all over. And now, for instance, I don't know, Muslims are considered to need more rights than black people. It's gonna happen. And at one point, probably the Muslims too will gonna go under something else that they found now to be the oppressor. So equity is bullshit. But even if you disagree with me and you say, no, I think equity is based, bro, it's your freedom. I respect that. As long as you're not an indecent person who laughs at Charlie Kirk's death, I will be more than happy to go out, have a coffee with you. We disagree, fine, let's go play some video games together. I don't care. As long as you're a decent person. But the problem is that you are free to say that. But I also want to be free to not have to repeat something I don't believe in just because you're changing the words that are considered acceptable. I don't want to have to say it. And I don't want you to say something I believe in, but you don't. You don't have to say it. And so we are told the truth is that mothers are mothers and fathers are fathers. The bishop wrote, I would love to live in a world where you don't need a bishop to say this. You don't need a bishop to say this. And the thing is, and I'm going to just probably stop it with this when it comes to the topic at hand. But the reality is that even if someone were to say, bro, you don't agree with this, but maybe there is someone who is non-binary and they're going to be a little bit happier if you say gestating parent and menstruating individual, and they're going to be happier. So why don't you think about them and their happiness? Right? Problem is that they don't care. The people that say this, they will immediately insult you and say, like, for instance, they use, when I say they, there are a few YouTubers I have in mind. I'm not going to name them, but they exist. I've seen them. I've seen their videos. They will tell you this, but then they don't care if what they say offends Christians. They literally use the name of our God in vain, attached with the word king right next to it, which I find distasteful. When I see that happen, and they use it as if it's his middle name, I stop watching the video. Not in a million years would I come to you in the comments and tell you can't do that. No, you can, but I can also choose not to watch you anymore if you do that. Not they will be, no, don't say mother, it could offend, but then they offend our God. And they don't care. So don't even give me. And I've seen it. The people did say, like, they were so polite in the comments, and I don't even do it, but there were people that say, I would really appreciate if you didn't use profanity because I love your content. You know what this YouTuber said? Don't preach your religion to me, but you preach yours to us. And it's the same thing with the pronouns, with the name. So you can believe whatever you want, but if you want me to use whatever pronoun you want, and by the way, don't even fucking try with bunny self, demon self, vampire self, and all this nonsense, never gonna happen. I hate they, them. I think it's nonsense, but if you want to use it, use it. And I will not mock you. If you use it, great, use it. But the fact of the she, he, and you want she instead of he, I think it's lawful for people to not want to deal with that, and they shouldn't have to. The way I do it is if you scream in my face and tell me it's ma'am, I will use the opposite pronoun to make a stand of freedom and tell you fuck off. But if you're a friend of mine and I know you and you ask me politely, I'll do it. Out of politeness. And I know that some of you will disagree with that. You'll say, no, I will never do it. And I respect that. I'm just saying that's how I am. Because in general, I am a kind individual. But with people like Dylan Mulvaney that tell me I should go to jail, never, ever, never. Trying to force someone to say something they don't believe in is the same as me, as a Christian, trying to force an atheist to say that Jesus is king and that he was resurrected. I know you don't believe in Jesus' resurrection, so I don't expect you to say it. So why are people expecting me to say things I don't believe in when it comes to all this situation with the genders and whatnot? And as I say, this comes from someone. I am willing, when someone is nice, I'm not going to call, no, your name is Tom. Who cares? People call me Metatron. I mean, it's not my birth name, by the way. So if you want me to call you Claire, I'll call you Claire. I don't even care. But again, it depends how you are. You have to ask, not tell me to do it. Because if you tell me to do it, I'll tell you to go fuck off. That's how it is. So that's me. That's me. To each his own. But this legislation thing, as you see, they want to put it into law. So this never was about freedom, was it? Because if it was about freedom, if you don't want to use mother, call it dragon for all I care. Call it a dragon. My dragon. Call it whatever you want. But if you're trying to pass a law, then you try to force me. And that's a problem. That's where I have a problem with it. This is my take on this nonsense. Let me close this tab. I will never open it ever again. Just stating parent. Unbelievable. If you appreciate my content so far and wish to help ensure my ability to continue to tell it how it is, regardless of any possible backlash, please support this channel on Patreon. Any support helps me and my team of academics keep the channel strong and gives us the means to fight back against the political rewriting of history. Stand with us, form the wall, defend the truth.